G'day everybody. Oh, that's loud. We are the QUT Besties, and this is our Biosecurity certification scheme. So we've developed this in response to our problem statement, which is how can we support farmers to develop a biosecurity plan and actually incentivize them to keep using it, because that's a key problem that we found. So we've all been talking about biosecurity. I think we all understand how important it is after the last few days. So when we found out 40% of growers don't have a biosecurity plan, alarm bells were going off. So we developed our solution to incentivize farmers to have their biosecurity plan in response to a loss of income during a quarantine event. So we believe this solution will overcome present bias and cognitive barriers using key theories, and it will be a viable and scalable solution. So in our idea generation, we had a criteria that we went through. We had a few different ideas, but we settled with our idea because we believed that it met the criteria, the first being barriers and motivations.
Barriers and motivators is absolutely key to consider. So we're thinking about our target audience of growers in our regional and rural areas in Australia primarily. And we know that these growers have a lot of barriers, instrumental, emotional, informational, to creating a biosecurity plan. There are also other social barriers. There are currently no social norms around having a biosecurity plan in place. Rather, we've seen stigmatization in communities for those who do comply with reporting. While our growers do have the technical knowledge and ability to create a biosecurity plan, we're seeing a lack of motivation and a lack of behavioural control. So our solution is really working into these gaps. How can we give our growers a streamlined pathway to create a biosecurity plan? How can we overcome the social stigma? And how can we overcome biases like a present bias, an optimization bias, thinking this won't happen to me? We'd really like to integrate this into our solutions and also gain additional government and industry trust, because we know that industries provide our farmers and our growers with vital information about biosecurity hazards.
In response basically to the risks and barriers that we identified, we've implemented a biosecurity certification program. And basically with this, we're trying to incentivize farmers and growers to create a biosecurity plan, as we've said, and then implement it and show that they're following the best practices that we want to see. And then, so if they show that they are actually using the biosecurity plan ongoing, then they get access to special benefits such as reduced insurance premiums and an extra financial benefit, which we'll talk about later. And then also with the auditing, depending on the sector, we suggest that it's that they do like a percentage of it becomes online, and then there's only a couple of audits that are only done in person. And then we also recommend that the government implements the 5 key things that you can see up there to streamline the process of reporting. And then we're directly trying to increase the reporting because we know that if we say to them that you're going to lose all of these benefits if you don't report, they're going to do it. They're more likely to do it. And I just want to really, really reiterate that in order to get access to the scheme, you need to create a biosecurity plan, and then to continue getting access to it, you need to actually prove that you are continuing to follow it, and that includes things like reporting pests and threats and things like that. Yeah.
Now we are talking about implementing a solution, and of course for that we need money and funding. Now, most of you will have received or been given a number when you entered the lecture theatre. So if you all know what number you have, can I see a hand for who has number 24? Number 24.
Oh, we've got a winner.
Congratulations, you are our winner. I bet that feels good to win something, right? Maybe? Well, you, alongside most Australians, we know that lotteries have earned $1.7 billion in 1 year in Australia. We know that Australians are really into lotteries. And we thought, this is a behavioural economics competition. We thought you guys might appreciate our metaphorical and physical use of a carrot incentive. You can come and see us after for your carrots. Congratulations. So of course, relating this to our solution, like I mentioned, funding is absolutely critical. We have seen success in programs such as the Martyr Prize Home Foundation. Of course, people in the community buy lottery tickets. They are potentially winning something for themselves, but at the same time, in our case, they're supporting a really important social and environmental issue. We know that this will generate funding. We have seen success in these programs before, and we know that Australians do want to consciously support our farmers and our farming and agricultural industries. And of course, we can measure this success through uptake metrics, through looking at the website, how many people are creating these biosecurity plans. We propose a system where our growers can view within their region an aggregate proportion of growers that do have a biosecurity plan in place. So this is really targeting those social norms, recreating the social norms currently, and flipping it around to making having a biosecurity plan and reporting biosecurity hazards into the norm. Our scheme involves funding and compensation to kind of compensate for any losses incurred for a biosecurity incursion. So loss of income, loss of relationships with suppliers, with supermarkets, heading into that space to really incentivize our farmers and growers to report their biosecurity risks. This is overcoming a present bias. We are providing them with immediate funding as soon as they enter the quarantine period and ongoing funding throughout their quarantine period. This complements existing government funding, just with the added benefit of it's immediate, it's much more easy to access, provided that you have that biosecurity plan, provided that you are maintaining it and keeping up to date, then you have our certification, you're part of our scheme. This solution is easy, attractive, social, and timely for our growers. We have streamlined the process. We are providing economic benefits. We are reaching out to them when they are renewing their insurance to kind of make it clear to them you could be saving on your premiums. We've seen this sort of benefit with insurance companies before. Suncorp Insurance has a cyclone benefit program. They're doing a similar thing. If you kind of take measures to protect your house, your property, you can receive reduced premiums on your insurance. In terms of implementation, we propose a staggered implementation plan beginning in the Lockyer-Valley region in Queensland. This is a diverse agricultural region, so we've got lots of growers, lots of different sized farms, including hobby farms, and there's a bit of a community basis there as well. There's a growers association, people are interested in supporting their own community. We thought this was a great place to start implementing our idea before scaling up to statewide, nationwide programs. With our funding plan being a lottery-based funding program, of course, this is incredibly scalable once word gets around. It's available. Anyone, again, can purchase these tickets. We can scale that up throughout Australia. We have considered a few key risks in our implementation and in our design. If funding is not sufficient, we're thinking about reaching out to other industry groups, lobbying with those groups. If participation is not sufficient, we can reach out to things like community gardens and leaders in those established community spaces. Our solution, we believe, will really work in those spaces to incentivize growers to create a biosecurity plan, support and incentivize them to follow their biosecurity plan, and really give them the autonomy to protect their property, to protect their communities, and overall to improve the resilience of our agricultural industry in Australia.